What the Divine Revolte arc does well is focus on guys like him. And of course, a heavy double dose of the Foundation Festival arc is our first taste as an audience that takes on the ever ongoing conundrum of humanity being its worst enemy. And before we continue, it's another day in the Frieren Manga hiatus. I've been praying at my Methode and Feet Goddess Shrine that Yamada Kanehito and Abe Tsukasa come back bigger and better than ever right as season 2 ends, because the final script has been delivered to the great mage Serie, the Feet Goddess! And what she reads and sees is beyond all of our imaginations.
合格だ.
Everything about the Foundation Festival arc, from the overall narrative, the new lore, the setting, being right in the Empire's capital, and the host of many characters we are already familiar with, and many more characters that have their own unique brilliance to them, like Gorilla's drunk supposed sister, and the dwarf that made Falsh fodder. Almost fodder, not quite yet. Aside from GoTP joining Frieren's party for a short period, before by mere coincidence joining them again. It was the first class mage exam arc that introduced a wide roster of new characters that many will ultimately become a major player in future arcs. All the while, during the first class mage exam arc, Ubel made a big impression before the first class mage exam started, with Craft the Monk, and throughout. Like most good stories, it is always about the roster beyond the MC that really makes a story richer and makes us feel more represented in various aspects. So in this short, little 6-chapter arc in the Divine Revolte arc featuring Genau, he essentially acts as the centerpiece of the narrative, with Methode, his new partner, as the main support to drive home his character development. At the same time, there is some lore drop about where Methode is from, like being from a serial demon mass murdering clan. Except, she is much more than that. She has a big heart and wants to share body heat to body heat, chest to chest with our elven MC of the Naked Potion. During this arc, our MC and Frieren was basically on the sidelines eating crackers as she cheered on Fern, fighting for her life. This was the arc where we realized that Fern had a mental hurdle to overcome, as she doesn't realize how strong she actually is, going against a more experienced mage, and how she had to deal with her weakness in a bad matchup where the fog disrupts what she does best: stay hidden so no one can detect her mana, and shoot pew pews faster than what your father did to your mom. It was also the same arc where she got to put her German name to use as she shot from very far away. Stark had his own major character development in this arc as well, often used as a shonen parody in the show the absolute tank of a warrior he can be by just almost dying a lot. He showed an aspect to his character not explored as often, but the anime in season 2 did a better job at growing his courage and confidence before the arc began. And during the arc, he showed his ultimate belief that he had belief in Genau being an actually good guy deep down, beyond that cynical and apathetic exterior he often displays. But beyond our main characters, there was a very large focus on Genau and Methode. As an audience, we knew only a little bit about them, and can say that most people probably don't have that great of an impression of Genau due to that cynical, pragmatic nature. And there's Methode. She's essentially here to make us feel really good about getting Genau to open up to his good side. Arcs like the Divine Revolte arc is in a way a foreshadowing of a crescendo that has expanded the Frieren character roster to make it feel beyond Frieren's own journey into the realistic nature of how people of different backgrounds deal with living in the Age of Peace and all the challenges we still face, along with not trying to repeat the same mistakes again, except Divine Revolte is a demon general, meaning that even in the Age of Peace, monstrosities still exist that took Eisen's legacy in Stark and one of the strongest mages in the world in first class mage Genau to take down. And it wasn't exactly that easy either, as both got fisted at the same time, with both Stark and Genau in critical condition afterwards. That would definitely make anyone pass out. Although humanity's greatest threat in the Demon King had been defeated, that doesn't mean war isn't still going on, at least on a smaller scale. Worldwide threats change as time continues. People still have to deal with humanity's flaws, like Schlatt's 1,000 years into the future vision that demons will be fighting for their existence. There is always a potential threat of the rise of another Demon King-like villain that can take on that mantle. Given what we know about elven lifespans, we can assume that demons likely have just as long of lifespans. Demon Anya Forger has lived for over 500 years, and we know the Demon King himself has reigned as Demon King for much longer. The journey after war is to help rebuild and make sure a threat like the Demon King doesn't ever exist again, which is why organizations like the Court of the Sacred Staff and the Shadow Warriors exist. Controversially, and the Shadow Warriors are assassins that act on yeeting people for the greater good. And presently, it is why the great mage Serie Ashi no Megami created the Continental Magic Association to help provide a foundational protection for ordinary citizens and to regulate magic so it doesn't go rampant, like turning Zotrak into an even greater yeeting magic, and use your magic like what Genau did by Hakkaiing the crap out of you with a big bang attack. Talking about you, the great mage Minas the Witch. As we can see from the Foundation Festival arc, it is the first time humanity's greatest threat is humanity itself. It is the great conundrum of the plot in its most controversial and political undertones that Yamada Kanehito is trying to possibly warn us about in this arc, like how Commander Reve, aka Helt, wants to eliminate magic from the world. That includes humanity and demons alike will lose their mana, and the laws of the world, rewritten in the time of myth, shall return to how they once were. In Commander Louv's eyes, he sees magic itself as humanity's greatest threat due to the wartime use of it when he was a child. What Chapter 147 implied was that due to nearby explosions during the Sutherland Wars, the nearby towns were wiped out as collateral damage. The Divine Revolte arc focused on one character's flaws in Genau's pragmatic approach, given how his partner got yeeted by attempting to save a child, all the while he ended up doing the same on instinct. That's how we knew Genau is more than what his cold exterior shows, when his immediate reaction is to save a child. Methode serves as that counterbalance. It's those loving, feminine qualities that helps him transition out of a cynical, pragmatic, and emotionless approach, all the while showing many big aspects of her character beyond her appearance, which beautifully weaves in the fact that she comes from a clan that solely hunts down demons in the most vicious of ways, and she still turned out like that. Even Serie has some contradictions to what she said to Genau in being an unpleasant man, that he doesn't possess even a grain of kindness, and to not change. At the same time, she purposefully picked Methode to balance him out. And how do we know that this is a purposeful partnership? She even did it in the Foundation Festival arc, purposefully picking Yubel to be partners with Land, even hinting at Megane that he wouldn't have accepted that mission if it wasn't for Ubel coming there to help recruit him. As we all know, Genau did something exactly out of character for him, and it is something that is character development for Serie's character, extending from the very beginning of the introduction of her, when Flamme brought along Frieren for the first time. It is where Flamme explains that Frieren is a mage that belongs in an age of peace, whereas Serie can never see herself not fighting. This is all symbolized in Flamme's favorite spell, in creating a field of flowers. With the feet goddess! Forever pondering over how she has seen the world since the age of Mythic by looking at flowers with disgust during the third exam of the first class mage exam arc, picking it up with her feet, only to flick away a petal of Flamme's perspective, brushing along the shrubs as she gets excited for Fern, noticing the instability in her mana. That contradiction of how Serie wants to see the world in her own way. Her experience, like all the characters on that mission to be her bodyguard, goes against her worldview, and it is her worldview that she projects onto Genau. And it's that contradiction that finally meets its fate in the Foundation Festival arc, where she gets yeeted by a warrior or someone that goes beyond what present day mages should be capable of. It's an entire murder mystery where this clairvoyant person can be anyone, even someone like Sis. Once again, it is that flower that she takes a look at in the Foundation Festival arc that alludes to the potential end of her many centuries of being stuck in her ways. Or will she be saved and evolve beyond her way of thinking, seeing those around her go beyond her expectation and imagine something that she currently cannot envision? The Foundation Festival arc has been extremely brilliant in the way it has been crafted, and I could break down even more characters, but I would like to keep this video short. Since the Frieren anime season 2 highlight arc is the Divine Revolte arc, I thought I would highlight some of the things that this arc does that ultimately leads into an even bigger web where multiple characters get their own Genau type of evolution in their character. It is where Yamada Kanehito really writes his characters to be developed naturally through the narrative, which is obviously what good writers do, but to do it with this amount of new characters and bringing back older characters is impressive, and his ability to take time to dive deep into these characters when the audience become the most curious about them. So this little 6-chapter arc is one of those sneaky arcs that is actually addressing a lot about Serie that ultimately becomes the main plot in the Foundation Festival arc, where the Shadow Warriors want to yeet the feet goddess. So yeah guys, let me know if there's anything about the Divine Revolte arc that you guys think stands out in the Foundation Festival arc. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.